Hi, Michael.
Hi, what's up, gamers? Gamer.
Nothing much, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Welcome our special guest, Caleb.
Hi.
Second guest as of recording. This is nice, to not be alone.
I wasn't first. That's okay.
Yeah, he wasn't first. We all know why.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about why.
But
we're here, you're here in good conscience. You're not here to maim me physically.
Not this time.
Not this time. I'm doing good.
Good.
I hope I will leave here alive.
Anyway, so we watched a movie.
We watched a movie. Yes. Hold on.
We actually came prepared for this one.
We did, although I wish I could display it because I do own it physically, but it's already packed up, so I can't share my beautiful version. But still, though, it doesn't matter about the material possession, man. It's a beautiful piece of art. We just watched it virtually too, so
Through Amazon.
it can be enjoyed, yes, through the Bezos machine. We
Streaming
watched
to your
it.
eyeballs.
Streaming right into your senses. We watched a film by Ralph Bakshi, great animated film director. Really just a film director because how many real people were in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely that kind of movie where it's hard to call it just animated. It is animated, but rotoscoping itself is, because it's almost like what they do with like capture for like video game cutscenes and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is.
It's that exact thing. You're filming someone doing this. It's an actual actor. They're just getting drawn over.
It's great though.
It's very cool.
Especially like the old rotoscope always kind of looks as it does. But we watched American Pie. I was gonna say that too. Actually, I couldn't. American Pop.
Yeah.
Not American Pie.
No.
American Pie
Is a movie that
is a movie.
exists
It's a
about
real movie
band camp.
about band camp.
That's not what
The
we watched,
website. No, so Ralph Bakshi, right? Speaking of
Yeah.
rotoscope, like he was someone to really kind of bring this form of animation to revolutionize it in a way. It'd been used in a few movies before. The only example I can personally think of is Yellow Submarine.
Oh, really? I
Yes.
haven't seen Yellow
We will get to it someday. There's a scene, we'll get to it eventually. In here, there's a very like psychedelic scene that takes place during Woodstock, and the like flashing colors of it and just the way they're dancing. It looks similar. It may not necessarily be based on the rotoscope scene,
But it
from
just
Yellow
has a
Submarine. It has the same feel,
Okay.
yeah. But it is a technique that I could imagine could have been tried fucking like in the 10s or something, because all it is just literally drawing over film.
Yeah.
So it could have. I have no idea when the first example of rotoscope was, but
I mean,
very hard to do.
yeah, it doesn't sound like it would be economical, we can say the least.
That too, yes.
You literally are doing everything twice.
Yes.
You film a whole movie. You don't have to now animate this whole movie.
Oh, Disney used rotoscope actually. They definitely used it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like Cinderella.
Cinderella.
When I'm pretty sure when she, she does her classic spin around and gets the dress for the first time. That's a rotoscope moment. I'm pretty sure.
Alright.
Because it would be, animating someone doing a 360 movement. It's pretty hard. So you film someone
Doing
all around, at every angle or something.
Yeah,
like
you have
that.
every
Every motion.
Yeah.
By every frame. So and also Ralph Bakshi. So this also has to do with American Pop, because he not only was prolific with rotoscope, he really broke the ground in animation in the West for adult animation, essentially. America, you know, was very rock steady on the idea that animation could only be Disney, could only be films for children.
Because that's what it was.
Yeah, exactly. There's Popeye, Looney Tunes.
Put it on for your kids on Sunday with your 2 other channels that you have.
You know, this, like, superhero cartoons were maybe the most adult because they just had adults.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, that's it. But, I mean, he I don't remember which one was first. He made a couple films, though, in the late 60s that are just, I haven't seen them yet, but they're these really crazy underground animated films about these, like, one of them, I believe it's Fritz the cat. It's just about a cat that, like, likes to fuck. Like, it's not even like a R film, it's like a rated X film. And,
like above R.
Yeah. That's
what
how
is this? So this cat's getting into this. Wait, you're telling me this cat's doing what?
He's doing the dirty. Yeah, he's. It's not just cats; it's birds and bees.
So he's got a very like common theme.
Yes. Yes.
Because you can look up like when we first watched American Pop last year, whenever it was that you showed it to me.
About that.
I was like, this is super cool. What else does this guy do? And it's like, all right, well, he did Lord of the Rings, the animated movie.
It's like his one kids movie.
Yes, which still at that, it's weird. And then Wizards. And when you look at Wizards, you're like, oh my god, this dude is so horny. Everything has massive tits in it.
Yeah.
Like
those ones especially, like American Pop is more realistic to human forms because they were just drawing the people.
Yes.
But yeah, Wizards was the follow-up to those like rated X movies. So yeah, it was just a animated a fantasy adventure, but with big honkers. And I still haven't seen that one. But like, you know, a bunch of musicians talk about that film, and it checks out because it's just like a trippy film from the you know early 70s with yiddies and wizards.
Awesome.
It makes sense, and it does sound awesome. Yeah.
That sounds like exactly what I want. On the
Sounds
side of a
great.
van.
Yes.
Like
with the wizard, like with the yiddy girl or the yiddy ogre, whatever it is.
Yeah, like
and then
overly sexual ogre caressing a wizard on the side of a like 1960s van.
Oh yeah. Now that I want to see driving up, you know, up the freeway. I want to see that.
That dude lives in that van. That's all he needs.
Oh yeah, if you have the stickers of the characters of wizards on your car, you don't have a family. You don't have a family.
You're a special type of
that person is a special.
Only one person likes
a lone wolf, as we call them.
A real Sigma.
Yeah, real Sigma to society. Not definitely not like weirdo.
No.
You're not weird if you like wizards. You're just
on a certain special list.
If you drive around with a bunch of big yiddies on your car, yeah. But at the same time, it is kind of fun.
It's a little funny.
It's pretty funny.
I mean,
and so someone saw that and was like, you know, this guy should make a kids movie.
Yeah, this guy should do Lord of the Rings because out of any fantasy property, the thing that's the least sexual is Lord of the Rings.
It is, yes, yeah.
There's
I could
two romances.
Less sexual.
There are 2 romances shown in all of that, and I know we're talking about American Pop.
Oh, we're building up to it. Don't worry.
But you have like freaking Aragorn, and then you have Faramir, and like it's just like, well, love is love, and that's it. That's all you get.
They just kind of get married and kiss a couple times, and that's it.
And the 2 characters, Arwen and Arwen. Confusing enough that the names
Sauron and Saruman. Shit like that.
Yeah.
Gimli and Imley. There is like another Imley character.
Whatever. But it's like, it's very dry. It's nothing of the sort sexual.
Yes. And he didn't make it fetish bait either.
No. He just
did a good
strictly
job.
did a really weird version of Lord of the Rings.
It is great though. It is you could tell he was a fan, and like at that time there was a Hobbit movie that came out before.
Yes.
And it was sort of meant to connect to those, but not really. And you could tell that he knew he was never going to be able to make another one, even if they made more. Because the majority of the film is like a perfect animated adaptation of The Fellowship.
Yeah.
And then the end is just like rushing to get to Helm's Deep. It feels like Ralph Bakshi just knew that he'd never get to make more than just one Lord of the Rings, so he had to do Helm's Deep. Yeah. But it is good. It's weird, but in like a, the 70s was a perfect time to make the Lord of the Rings kind of thing. There was a bunch of music out at the time about Lord of the Rings.
Led Zeppelin.
Zeppelin was doing it, and then you had the folk rock world kind of getting into it as well. And that grassy nature of very wooden, like Harvest, Neil Young kind of folk rock and folk in general.
Okay.
I think like that tone was perfect to make a Lord of the Rings. And then after that, he gives his crack at a straight drama movie, and that's what we have now. And I mean, it's kind of jumping around a lot, but American Pop definitely is, a story about, the human condition, as it's called,
Being born a dreamer and trying just to follow your dream, and that's how you live your life. That's what you live your life for.
I'm getting the Letterboxd tagline for it because I think it's phenomenal.
So, basic premise is it's a story of a family. Takes place throughout 4 generations of the family. And they just want to be musicians. Each one of them, in their own different way, wants to make their mark in music, and that's all they live for. And it's super cool.
It is. It is. Well, you said it is a Americana story.
It is,
because it doesn't
beautiful.
just like, not just with these characters. It does take the time to actually like sort of bask you in the times. Like the generations.
You're starting very early on in like the 1900s, like 1900 or whenever it may be. A like Russian immigrant, his father is killed in Russia, and him and his mother come to America, and he just one day he's exploring, doing his thing, and he hears the show, the lady sing, and he's like, I want a part of this. I don't know why, but I just want to sing. And we were talking about this earlier, where maybe with like just the whole, all you have from your old country versus America being the complete opposite of where you just came from. Like, there are all these bright lights and everything is big, and you're not just in a small town listening to the hymns and like your religious songs. So when you hear something just big and bold in America, it's
old New York too.
Old
industrial
New York, yes.
age, turn of the century. It was as I agreed with you as you said these things to me. It wasn't. It isn't just that he is in this new environment. America was changing at that time.
Yeah.
And it was big for anyone, let alone someone who is new to the country.
And a child.
And a child.
An actual child.
Yeah.
And, of course, tragedy around every corner.
Yes, for every generation. The hardships and tying in a lot of real history, the struggles that America has faced,
I guess,
put itself in,
I guess, still on the topic of, like, portraying America and that kind of thing, with every single time they do, like, a little jump cut in time, there's the compilations of just photos mixed with artwork and
like
just,
real photos.
yes,
and
real
stuff.
photos of like mobster like
Mob killings, real
Yeah,
mob killings.
fires and like industrial like parks and stuff like that.
The
were just
fire
these
with
buildings.
those women in the notorious fire. I don't remember what it was called, but yeah, it was just a I guess a sweatshop is an
like
easy term
a
for it.
textile mill, whatever.
Yeah,
where
but in the
they
middle
make,
of like
like,
a city
clothes.
too. And yeah, it was just all the women that were working there, during the war while the men were away, and
with the worst like
just set on fire. Yeah, with
early
the worst
technology in like a brick building with a bunch of wood and like
I mean, a
cloth
horror era, horror era.
and they were locked inside or whatever.
Yes.
And then it shows like actual like photos of like the actual building burnt down or something like that. So I think that's it's not cool. I can't say it's cool.
It's powerful.
It is very powerful that.
It's cool that he would do that. That he would put that real.
But he does that
there.
throughout the whole film, is with like just kind of everything. World War II, going into
all
Nam,
the wars.
even just kind of like crappy New York City streets and shit like that.
Oh
But
yeah,
of
towards
each
the
era.
end especially.
And it's you really just see like, hey, it's not just these characters' lives who are kind of shitty. It's kind of everything around them, and they are fighting against every odd because they are at the lowest you can be.
Yeah.
I can't say because they rise
they
to
do
a good
go
high.
low.
Like in the second generation with
Here, wait, I have it on my list. Although, granted, I don't remember all of their names in the proper order. I always remember Tony because they're the longest. And Tony and Pete were the same guy, apparently, the cast is saying.
Interesting. Okay.
And, oh, wait, no, that's a lady. Hold on. Wait, where are the other ones?
Are they not listed?
They're not really there, yeah.
Thanks, Letterboxd.
That's freaking crazy. What the heck? I guess while I have it up too, because that to me, that generational strife, the idea of each having a dream, wanting something so badly, and fighting for it so hard, and you fight so hard, and you either just, even if you don't fail, you still just can't grasp it. But then the next generation comes and they try to get closer, and then the next generation comes and they get closer.
Yeah.
I think it's such a beautiful idea, having a film where the one of the main focuses is the idea that the scale of dreams themselves, the idea that it wasn't just, it was his dream, but his dream became the dream of his children and their children.
Because he definitely tried to follow it so much that he brought the whole world around him into it.
Yeah.
So, starting with him being like, I want to sing, when am I going to have like my adult voice? When is this going to happen? And then he gets shot in the throat, and it's taken away from him, and he cannot sing because he sounds like this.
You said you wanted a new voice.
I didn't mean this. And so, but then it's like, oh, here's this stripper I fell in love with.
She can sing.
She can sing.
So yeah, it's not even just your family, it's like the people you meet.
Yeah, so I will give anything I want or anything I can.
In some way for
this. Yeah, for me to be a part of something that meant something, I guess.
Because if we skip a generation, in the third generation,
yes,
he can't sing either. He ends up writing songs.
Yeah,
he has other people play his songs.
He's a dishwasher. His hands are too permanently puffy.
Permanently puckered!
To play the guitar. He's just not good at playing the guitar. He can play the harmonica, but only one thing.
Yeah.
That he learns from a hobo while
on the train.
On the train crossing to...
Great scene, though.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's so cool. but he knows words, and I think that's
Mhm.
cool, and that's a very important part of music, to me specifically. I
Oh.
would say is words. I love when something just uses words you wouldn't think to use, but perfectly portrays a story, or things that just sound fun together. I love lyrics. I think they can be really good, and if they're just shit, the song is kind of shit.
And that's why they had him canonically write Bob Dylan songs too. He wasn't just writing like pop songs. He was writing songs by a guy that everyone respects for his writing. You know.
Yeah.
He is our American songwriter of of that century. You know. And I guess to say one other thing about Tony before we go whichever, you know, if we keep going forward or go back, he just, oh wait, what were we just talking about?
American writers and lyrics.
Oh well, yeah, no. He is one of my favorite because he is sort of aloof, as I say, right? But he is one of my favorite types of dopey people where, sure, like human interaction in these things, he may be kind of silly with, like, he may say silly things and he may act kind of silly and these sorts of things, and he you know, no one knows if he cares about. I mean, clearly he didn't care about like a broader education getting up there. He just fucking leaves.
Yeah. When he's like a
teenager, yeah. But when it comes to things like music or like love or something, like, he just gets it, you know. And I love a character or a person like that. I just think that is so great. Yeah, I think he's a really great character. They're all great characters.
Yeah. But he just has no. When you see a character that starts as like, he can be anything if he really wanted to, but then he throws it away, all of it away, because maybe it's because he's trying to live up to the expectations of who came before him.
A guy who also sort of did that, you know, the second generation.
Who they call a genius and very talented.
That he was.
But he was so just go with the flow kind of thing, but in a different way than
in a melancholy way, not quite in a like free-spirited like go-getter way. More of
I'm just going with wherever life is taking me because that's all I can do, but it's not the best thing.
He's always because we cross over between generations, from the first generation of the immigrant who loses his voice.
Yes.
To, you know, the child that he has with the singer, who now he's tied up in the mob world, so this kid is watching these mob deaths, and then his mom is fucking bombed, you know, those house bombings that would happen.
Alright, it sounds like we're skipping a lot.
Oh no, don't worry about it. Don't worry. Trey and I, when we did actually both the films we did, we were fucking all over the goddamn place. Yeah, don't worry.
Alright.
We've actually been more like
on track.
Yeah, we have been, yeah. So it's okay.
But like, pretzel bomb. It's such a stupid thing to say, but it's just like, honey, did you get me pretzels?
Well, that shit would happen. That shit would really happen, yeah.
But it's like, you are literally giving this character who does become the most, like, everything's whatever. Yeah, that's fine. I guess I'll do what I have to do. No complaining about it. But he experiences death from a very early age. His mother exploding at his front door while he's practicing the piano, and they're talking about how good of a life they're making for this kid. And that's just taken away from him right there. And he just becomes the character you know as just, I'll do what I have to do.
You do see, because he is like a child prodigy, you do see that there's something like a little different about him when you first meet him. Because he is like, they say he's a quiet kid and he keeps himself, but he's always tapping, you know, he's always got a song playing in his head, you know. So there was something there, but then life threw him a bunch of curveballs and made him even more reserved.
And
you know,
like, you can't play with the jazz band down here. Like, you gotta, you're trying to go up higher. You can't do that. And he's like,
he never saw music that way.
No.
Though. This
that
son.
was just him.
But
he was just the song.
And I mean, you can understand the perspective of the father who came to this country and is, you know, now going to his dream, his possibility of achieving his dream has already depleted, and he's very slowly watching it be, sort of pushed to the wayside by his son. And but I mean, you also get his son, because obviously being pushed into a life is a cool thing. It is just it's that thing between, you know, the parent wanting to see the best life for the kid and then the kid just needing to figure himself out. You get the feeling like he never really did anything that he wanted, unless if it had to do with the piano.
Yeah. And it really becomes, I've done so much that I haven't wanted to, I'm going to do the one thing that nobody wants me to. And that's enlist into the Second World War on purpose. Like, that was a really cool part. Not specifically what happens. It's real upsetting, but it's still a very cool thing. But
I love that
just his dad being like,
oh yes,
why would you do this? You just married this girl that I told you had to marry, but you just married her and you have a son on the way. Just doing what I have to do. Is like the response that he gives, and it makes him the cool Jotaro character.
Oh yes,
kind of like the badass. So that we didn't mention
this movie is real life JoJo.
Yes, we didn't mention that.
It is my little, because there are certain movies like Punch Drunk Love where people watch them and they're like, oh, this is actually a origin story. This is Paul Thomas Anderson's version of a Superman origin story. It's that one Adam Sandler. It's a more serious movie that he did. It's a romance movie. It's very.
I'm not familiar.
It's
I'm
amazing.
familiar with the title. I just haven't seen it.
Okay, it's a great film, and it's a really nice, free moving, a little strange but very funny romance. And there is just this really fun fan theory that does actually check out, that it is a origin story of Superman, because Adam Sandler's always wearing a blue and red suit. He only travels by flight. He never goes anywhere any other way. He has a place that he goes to for alone time with all of his prized possessions. It is his fortress of solitude. For any time he gets in a fight, he has this strange, like, actual super strength. Because it is kind of, the movie itself, like, is just kind of being like, love is a superpower kind of thing, Gotcha. It's very sweet. It's a very sweet movie.
Huh.
And so when I watch American Pop, like, I'm not necessarily applying it as a theory, but I do see American Pop and JoJo are two of the only stories that follow a generational pattern. And not only that, but these characters do kind of feel similar. You have Jonathan isn't necessarily a immigrant, but they just are from a similar area, and both are just kind of faced with a bunch of similar fish out of water problems.
Starting as
and
like
horrible tragedies.
Besides the fact that Jonathan is rich and noble, and like he's got good morals, it's a lot of just the.
He does lose all that though too. He does lose his original home, and he confides in an older figure to help him assess to this new world and stuff. That one's definitely looser, but you have his son who looks like Josuke but kind of acts like Jotaro. Has that like few expressions, but
like very very much
there's
you
a
could
lot
hear
going
him say
on.
like good grief or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But got the pompadour, even the like spiky things on the back of like Josuke's head.
And he smiles.
Yeah.
And he does actually smile.
Yeah, and he's just like the cool kid.
He's cool. Yeah, he's cool in the way that both of them are kind of cool.
Yeah.
He's drippy. He's serious, but not too much. You know.
Yeah, and it's you can almost kind of even think of we're back. But it's almost like Jonathan's son in JoJo is actually like the one they skip. They skip over, and he's the pilot. He's the World War One fighter pilot.
Yeah, World War One.
And there's like some strange this and that, but you don't know a lot about him. You just know that he went to war, and that he was like a brilliant guy, very caring,
a human
smart.
who fought against a bunch of vampires, had no chance of surviving.
Yes, yeah, but he still did it
anyway.
And then you have his son. The numbskull, knucklehead,
rebel,
gimp-lipped,
yeah,
horrifying looking, mean to women actually.
Yes.
You have that character, and that's Tony.
Tony, the third generation, and he literally looks like it is the same. I will put pictures up on the screen.
When Joseph gets to New York at the beginning, the puffy jacket,
same fucking outfit.
Yeah,
it's the same fucking outfit as Joe's introduction outfit.
At the beginning, he's very much that Joseph just like, I don't care. I'm like,
he's a bit of a goof.
He's the goof, breaks the rules, gets himself into too much trouble.
Very passionate.
Yes,
though.
Very passionate.
Yeah, not just a complete like airheaded, buffoon. There's a lot. Again, there are things like the most truest things to life. He understands and he understands it greater than most people do. You know, Joseph in part 2 specifically is very virtuous and has this caring heart and is actually a very kind person who does want to help people. And Tony is someone who he may be rough. He may be rough around the edges.
But deep down,
he's a lover.
Awesome.
He's a lover.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Kansas is corny, man, just like him.
Well, and then I guess we'll just there is a Giorno after him. His son, the Lou Reed lookalike drug dealer.
Yeah, he's awesome, dude. Because
it is awesome.
You start as like, this is just some blonde hair, like blue-eyed punk. He looks different than the rest of our characters so far.
Because
starts out like brown hair, brown eyes.
But Tony got together with a country lady,
a girl from Kansas.
Yeah, a real life Kansas doll,
a real American gal, and so. Blonde hair, blue eyes, different than the
nice Aryan woman.
Yes, different than the rest of the Joe stars.
Yes. Well, Susie Q. That's his Susie Q.
That is true. Yeah, that is his Susie Q. He loves that lady.
He does. Yeah. Even though he ends up with some other people.
Well, yeah, because he's an idiot. Is mostly what that is. But we'll get to.
Well, yeah, Joseph's an idiot. Tony has an actual collapse in his life.
Tony makes his way from New York to Kansas. He steals his mom's car.
Because his father's gone off to war and died, and he's grown up without a dad, and he's just angry. He doesn't relate to his younger siblings at all.
His step siblings, because the mom now just keeps marrying different men, has a kid, they get a divorce.
And his grandfather, like his mom's father, is just like this fucking mob douchebag. But actually, the one person that we haven't talked about yet, whose plot kind of begins to wrap up, before Tony's story really starts, it wraps up the story of our Zeppeli, man who guides, the very first son
Jonathan.
all the way. Yes, young Jonathan. He's just this great character, very, very classic sort of he exists all over the world, but it's a
Yes.
classic New York kind of way, because he's literally in New York, so it's the New York version of this kind of guy,
of this Londoner,
but of this guy
Yes.
who will put, you know, he is willing to look at anybody, even if it's just some random fucking child stranger, and give them an opportunity and be genuine about it, and he actually cares for this kid.
yeah,
He's there to
he comes
raise
off
him.
as a brash, like tough guy
Mhm.
from this city because he kind of
He is that.
He is that, but deep down he cares. He cared
He's a
enough
great
that
father
he
figure.
saw that our first character, whose name I fucking
Yeah, I know,
forgot
and
again.
then
there's
the
there's
letterbox
four
only
of
has
them.
like 3 people on it,
Yeah,
so
and so our first character, like he our Zeppeli figure sees
Mhm.
that this little boy has the exact same dream he does, and so
Oh
he,
yeah.
he gives up that dream. He gives all his resources to this kid, just like Zeppeli does to the rest of the Joestar line. Till after he's dead, way after he's dead, they're still being supported by the Zeppelis,
Well, and I mean,
or not Zeppelis, but
the REO people,
the Speedwagon Foundation.
Speedwagons. He's kind of both of them
Yes,
a little
yeah.
bit, but no, that actually goes to the thing of the dreams and the generational like struggle to achieve your dreams is and also just dreams exceeding you. It's like he comes into this place and like the young boy, and he happens to meet a man who also has these dreams. These two people try to achieve these dreams through each other.
Yes,
you
they're
know?
brought together by whatever means.
Yeah.
Like stand users meet stand users, or
And
hormone users.
I just love the familial aspect of both of these things. That punch drunk love. If love is a superpower in JoJo and in American Pop a little bit, it's family that's the superpower, and
Yes.
Fast and the Furious.
Family, always the answer.
Always
More horsepower,
more family.
more family, more speed. More,
I got it, cuh.
Is that your is that your
Favorite Paul
Brian?
Walker quote.
That's your Brian. That's awesome.
I got it, cuh.
Thanks, cuh. Like, dude, you could have said cuz. You could have been like, thanks, man. Thanks, bro.
It's
thanks,
weird.
dude. Cuh. But
The mob whacked them for that.
But
one.
yeah, but you do see that a lot throughout the rest of it. I have to take this sweatshirt off.
Mhm.
It's starting to heat.
We're in the hot corner.
But family is kind of what helps them, specifically family in this world. Where when you are on your own, you can't do any of it. But when Generation 4, Giorno, or Little Pete is the man.
He is a G. He is a G like Giorno.
So he's the fun son of Tony.
Although his story is not that fun.
No,
Because I mean, it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. We're it's like a detective's board, with all
with
the
the
red
string
lines.
and yes.
So Tony's story, because we had to explain the guy, the Zeppeli, who was there to watch them, and
Yes.
his story concludes when we are crossing over from the second son to Tony, and he is a senile old man still watching the first son, as he is being tried
On
for
TV.
having made some deals and do some jobs for the mob in his life. He sort of gives up that mob side of his family, and you never really see
rats on him.
Tony and his grandfather interact. He just
Because
watches him over
Tony
his TV.
really does not care.
Well, he's also a kid at that point.
Yeah,
we never
he's-
see him.
he's-
But then, he just leaves.
All he knows is this is my dad's dad. My dad's dead. What's gonna happen now? Like my life is not this.
Yeah, and he just goes. He just takes that opportunity to go. He takes his dad's harmonica, and that's it. Leaves with the clothes on his back. Crosses the country, does dishwashing, learns a little harmonica, meets a wacky
Beautiful,
60s band, and yes, a beautiful
redhead
singer,
lady.
Ginger, yes.
Absolutely crazy.
She's on more than weed when they meet, and it stays that way. And
weed drinking,
like acid,
stuff
definitely.
like that. But then it
shrooms,
turns into the heavier things like
heroin, coke,
and that really is kind of where you see the downfall of not just Tony, but
that whole band that he joins, really,
yes.
yeah. Even the ones that don't get like addicted to anything, it's still like the band is fucked.
Because the lead singer, she and Tony are literally dragging it down. Tony writes their lyrics,
but he's getting too fucked up to
pull through.
There's a very dark scene where they reveal that he hasn't spoken to anyone in 2 months. He's just in his house in the dark
heroin.
and. He doesn't even have any more. You hear this phone call, and he's in the dark. You don't even see his face. You just see his teeth. Yeah. You see the grin of his teeth, and he's just saying, "Oh, do you have any more? Yeah, you don't. That's fucked up, man." And it is a really, really, really dark moment, and he thinks that everything is moved past him. He thinks this woman singer that he found in his written songs to sing.
Yes.
That she's gotten married to
one of the other band members,
which is true, but it didn't last that long. And by the time he shows back up, they're already divorced.
2 weeks, man. Yeah. She's crazy. But he's still in the band with her, and Tony, don't you do that? Oh, so we should also mention
Hendrix.
We should also mention that the Jimi Hendrix
rotoscope Jimi Hendrix.
Yes, and the accident. Tony goes through an accident.
That's what it leads to, because they get booked for Woodstock.
Mm-hmm.
They have to follow Jimmy, which is stressful, but they're rocking. They're playing Jefferson Airplane, rocking up there, there is this moment where it's Woodstock, so someone gives Tony a drink.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey man, this water's weird. Something's in this water. You should try it."
And Tony's already kind of zooted.
Yeah, he's already
so
a little like on something.
Sure.
So he chugs this thing of, let's just for the sake of
heavy dose of acid.
Yeah,
that's absolutely what it was.
So he's freaking out, and they're like, "You gotta join us on stage, man. You belong up here. You're part of us. Spread the love." And Tony is dragged up, and he is freaking out. He's freaking out.
Yeah.
At this point, the background going from like these beautiful paintings, these really just striking landscapes.
Because all the people are rotoscope, but all the backgrounds are these murals and paintings.
They're absolutely
of
gorgeous.
A different art style too.
Yeah. So
an old Americana art style.
Yeah, it's very, very Americana. It makes you think of just, I don't know, like 40s with this high contrast shadow, but these beautiful bright light.
These skinny, kind of pointy figures.
Yeah, yeah. And the background changes from that to these weird, like trippy visualizations put over people.
Just
and,
real
people,
yeah.
Real footage. And so it's just that even more of the Tony is fucked up right now.
Yeah.
Like he's freaking out. This is not good. And he falls.
Looks like something David Lynch would do. And the fall, it looks straight out of Space Ace.
Yeah, he
hilarious.
Just keeps going up, and he goes down.
I love it.
He breaks, like, I'm guessing, like, his arm,
neck
shoulder.
and his arm, something like that.
And he can't do anything. He's in a cast like this for a while.
I feel like a fucking M&M. That's one of my favorite quotes in the movie. Dig my soft candy shell. And then, his girl comes in. She's not just zooted on the drugs, but zooted on the money. She comes in to his, first time seeing him hospitalized with a new typewriter. And
an electronic typewriter.
Come on, you gotta write the songs for us, right?
Because they did so fucking good at Woodstock.
Mm-hmm.
But after Tony's accident, he's like, I need more heroin.
Yeah.
I hurt all the time. And that's when he then goes missing for the 2 months. Nah, man.
That was when he goes missing.
Yes.
Oh wow, I goofed it up.
No, you're good. You're good. But like after his accident, and that's one of the things. I don't know if he specifically stayed and said they left, because I can imagine them leaving while he's in the hospital. But for 2 months, man, going missing for 2 months.
Well, yeah, with
Yeah.
that People Strange scene, he is clearly like, he went and found himself like a, not a joke, a real like crack house to stay
Yes.
in, essentially, a real rundown, like
Apartment.
fucked up place, that no one knows he's there, he's just sleeping in there and
No
taking
lights. There's
heavy,
just
heavy
like
drugs.
a couch. It's
Yeah.
probably been abandoned forever.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
after he makes the phone call and his dealer says, "We're out. I have nothing more. I can't get you anything more."
Yeah,
he
just
goes back.
breaks down, and once he sees, he breaks down reading the paper that his girl is married to another band member, and he cries, and you get a shot of a little nam shot of a soldier killing just some random Asian
that one
person.
was striking.
Yeah.
I told you my first time I didn't notice
It's
that
quick.
as much. It's very quick. It's
Yeah.
just, it's about 1 second of just pow,
Yep.
and it's just to remind you we're dead smack in the middle of shit going on,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not just Tony in this world who's suffering, but everyone else.
The world was
Yes,
suffering.
the world
yeah.
is, and that's a huge theme throughout the whole thing. Is the world is suffering, and all these things are happening, and all these bad things will keep happening. But these people are trying to go beyond just what's happening to the whole earth and just, follow their dream past everything else.
Because you can't just push. Obviously you have to survive,
Mhm.
but you have to survive for the sake of whoever's going to come next.
And for the thing you want to survive for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, and they do all have their definitive purposes in life. Even if you have a character like the second gen Joseph, who, he maybe didn't pursue music as a career. You could tell it was still his true one love in life.
It is the reason
he was
did
alive.
anything,
Yeah,
was
yeah.
to play music.
His final moments, we didn't even mention them. Is him
we
playing the piano.
Yeah,
and,
in
that he happens to find.
Yeah, so like we said, he went into the war, World War II, and so he's somewhere in Europe, and he kicks in a door. They're scanning for people, just trying to find any Nazis, and he finds a piano. He takes off his helmet, puts down his gun, and once again, that is the only thing to exist to him, is the music. He doesn't care what else is going on. But the actual Nazi comes out and puts the gun to him, and he just stops for a second and goes right back to it. Because he doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
He's been dying to get his hands back on them ivory keys, and he took the chance, and he paid for that with his life.
He realizes, right at the end that it is his final moments, because he just kind of stop in the middle of his song too.
The German soldiers
dumb cop. And
thanks, and then just
shoots him up. Yeah, not just shoots him once, either fucking fills him with holes.
Yeah.
So then going back to his son now.
Yes.
Who is at his lowest point. It sort of becomes the opposite of how the second gen fellow threw his life away, in the sense that he gave up a life with a family and playing music to die in war, and then his son essentially just loses a hold of everything, and it all sort of just tumbles. And when they get to Woodstock and you get a nice rotoscope Jimmy, we learn he happens, he's fucking out of it too, and so is the singer.
They're high on
it is
their heroin,
some prime heroin, and there's a young boy there though who happens to have a crazy resemblance to the country girl who did it right, or whatever that meme is. The country girls make do. Yeah, the country girl who made do. Yes. Yeah. He realizes that he bears resemblance to her, this young boy that Tony sees. And wouldn't you know, it's Lil Petey.
Little Pete. And
And
he just so
Little Pete
happens
doesn't
to
know
be.
who his father is.
No.
They're in Kansas.
They're in
back
Kansas.
in Kansas.
Well, so, are there how many blonde people with blue eyes are there in Kansas that don't have dads? Only one, and it's
Only
Little
one,
Pete.
and it is Little Petey. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So.
A movie like this that is coming from the heart in such a way, I really don't care if it has such like a convenient moment like that. It's very impactful, and
Yes.
it's not like it leads to like a nice tied up in a bow ending for the two of them. You know,
it really doesn't. But it shows you Ben the literal lowest he could have ever been or ever gets.
Yes.
And that's
He realizes the life he could have had. He just
Yeah.
literally just goes and cries in the fields.
in
Up to
fields
this
of
amazing
corn.
Janis Joplin song.
Yeah, just
Um,
if he didn't leave Kansas and he stayed with that country girl, he could have had this kid. He could have done something with his life instead of just wasting it away. And he realizes that. But he knows there's nothing he can do. And
as
this
the-
is, in my opinion, this is the point where the character Tony dies. Tony is
Mhm.
dead.
Mhm.
He's a husk of a shell. He's nothing.
Because yeah, I mean, he not only is it like, okay, well, that life is impossible for me now. I miss that. But then, as this Janis Joplin song is playing, the singer in the band that
Mhm.
that he was romantically spending time with is now OD'd.
Yeah,
And so now
she's
he
dead
really
now.
does just have no one
Nothing.
other than Little Pete,
Little Pete.
who does try to be there for him. They go back to New York,
Yep.
and Little Pete, essentially is following Tony around the deep-seated, especially the 70s, what New York was like in the 70s, which was another prime area, prime time, I mean, for crime. Like the
Yes.
20s, fucking,
Prohibition. And,
Prohibition bootlegger days.
Yes.
That was a prime time for the mafia.
And
And
now
then
the, like,
late 70s, just general crime
The
was
war
on
on
a big
drugs is
rise.
going
That
on.
was coming up.
Yeah.
That didn't happen yet, but it was coming up.
Okay. And just like it's seedy is the
Oh
term.
yeah, absolutely. It is the seedy underbelly of the city that
Yeah.
he is essentially raised on, and because of that, we get an 11-year-old gangster
Who
who
oh
looks
my
cool
God,
as
I
hell,
love-
by the way.
literally looks like Lou Reed.
It's
Can you pick
awesome.
up or can you put up the
It'll
photo
be there. It'll be the
of-
thumbnail too, because he's on the cover.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. But
He
it
is a good
just Lou
poster
Reed
child.
with the
Yeah, it's
fucking
blonde
glasses.
arrow Lou
Yes.
Reed. Yeah, it's
And-
awesome. And you hear Lou Reed playing in that moment
Yes,
too. You
yes,
hear
Waiting
the
for
drug
Romance.
deal song, a live version of it from that time, the mid to late 70s.
And it's super cool.
It's
really,
perfect.
It's a really awesome thing to add in that. But
All the music choices are
Little-
great.
little Pete is now Big Pete.
Yep.
Well,
Well,
I
so-
guess let's rewind just half a second.
We see this transition happen because
Yes.
there's one final day where they're sitting on this bench together, and Petey's been playing guitar for the public, but Tony will come, just take the money, go buy more drugs, and one day decides, like, give me your guitar, I'm gonna pawn that, and Petey, this kid, this is all he has,
Yeah.
and then they sort of come to a slight butting of heads where it's like,
I don't want to give you the guitar because I'm not getting anything.
And when Tony's like, why? And Petey goes, well, why the hell do you think? They have this first sort of
Yes, where
realization of a father-son kind of relationship.
Yeah, where it's like the kid knows, Tony knows, like what?
But they don't talk about
Yes. Why do you? What was it?
Why don't you trust me?
Or why don't you trust me? And well, why are you staying with me?
Yes,
then?
well, yep.
Why the hell do you think? And then it's just the kind of the only time where it's like they both acknowledge that they know.
And because of that, he in exchange for the guitar, he gives him his father's harmonica, which was likely gifted to him by his father's father,
Yes.
And then, Tony goes off to sell the guitar, but We just never see him again. He never
Yes.
comes back.
He's done.
He sends someone to go give Lil Petey the money he got from the guitar, which does very much, mean that like he's not just like leaving. Like he's facing an end there.
He doesn't need the money, and he gave him like a brick of cocaine or something.
I thought that was the money. I thought that was
He said
brick
don't
of
sell
money,
it. Like don't sell it all in one place.
Oh, I thought he said
So,
don't spend it all in one place. Okay.
That's
Well,
where
that's
the
even
drug.
more
That's
fucked
that's
up.
weird. Yeah, that's where Pete becomes Big Pete.
Because then we see him become Big Pete, and he's like the drug dealer.
He is the best drug dealer
of
in
the
New
late
York.
70s.
He's slapping everybody. He's vibing. He is the man.
It's set to Sex Pistols. It's really cool. Well, at first it's set to what's her face? Can't remember her name. Patti Smith, I believe. Hell is for Children is the song they play. Pat Benatar made one of the Pats.
Yeah.
And then you get a cover of a fucking amazing Sex Pistols song. And I love that scene of them in the glam rock club of all the guys flipping around.
Everybody looks. We've
like a
talked.
goblin.
Yes, we've talked about the backgrounds being like these harsh, like dark contrast like paintings.
Mhm.
Now it's the people.
All the background people are in the
Yeah, just they look like these crazy. They're not even people. They have like shrunken heads.
They have the face of that fucking purple thing from the prequels that George Lucas put into the other ones too, because it's like the singer.
Oh yes,
One of them has her face. The girl that comes in front of the camera. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Jabba's palace or whatever it is.
Yeah,
and it's just, I know. They do look like that.
I love that scene so much.
But to get to kind of where the movie comes to its close,
Its conclusions, yes.
is the final drug deal.
Mm-hmm.
Little Pete, or I guess Big Pete now, or just Pete, whatever he kind of really calls himself. He's just the man.
Oh, well, full circle moment too. On his way to that final deal, he does see a Jewish priest, singing a similar song to that of his great-great-grandfather.
Yes.
And he kind of rocks to it for a second, too.
Back from Russia or wherever.
And then he sings, he plays Night Moves on his piano, and then on a drug deal, he's dealing to a band, so he makes an ultimatum.
Like,
you hear my shit, or I never deal to you again.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, we can always get another guy. And it's like, yeah, but you won't have me, and I am the best guy.
Mm-hmm.
So
they say, all right, one song.
And
that one song just happened to be Bob Seger's Night Moves, which is a fucking great song. So
and the
weird like
recording booth,
Elvis mobster in the recording booth.
Yeah, it's Elvis, and he's like, at first he starts very disgruntled, like, oh, I have to deal with this. Then you see everything boot up, and they're recording it.
And then he pog faces.
Then he pog champs. He goes, oh, and he's on the phone being like, we need to get this kid, like, on stage now. He's the best we've seen. And we start to finish off fully with blue suede shoes into...
once he gets up on stage. It's, blue suede shoes, which it's awesome that is in there, because... It's pre-rockabilly, but they're covering a classic rock and roll song in a more modern way at that time, and then it goes into a song that at that time was very new, "Heart's Crazy on You."
Yeah,
and it's great. I love it.
And the movie ends with Freebird.
Freebird,
Freebird.
He plays "Crazy on You" in a very like SpongeBob movie guitar solo kind of moment, but you're also getting like flashbacks of all the people up until this point, all the heartbreaks, all the loves and losses,
all of this leading up to this one moment of
finally the dream.
The dream has been fulfilled. They are on stage playing in front of thousands, and they aren't going to come down. They are at the top, and they have made it.
Even if they do, it doesn't matter.
No,
because at this point they had the dream has been fulfilled. you know,
To
the legacy has been
yes,
made.
To be a musician that is recognized.
But they don't imply that his life does go down the hill
No,
anyway, so
no.
you have no reason to think that it would necessarily.
I think that man is up top.
Yeah, I think
Pete is
so.
the coolest. I don't want to say he is the shortest because part two's character is there for like a total of 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, no, his is the shortest
Pete's
for sure.
is-
The second
Yeah,
shortest.
it's definitely the second shortest. Part one. I hate calling it part.
But the first
But yes,
section
First section
is
is
like
second longest.
about the first
Yeah.
act.
Yeah.
But Tony's bit is the one that takes up the majority
Almost
of the film.
like a third of the film.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I like his story a lot though. I love them all.
At first, I couldn't stand him because it seemed like he was wanting to choose everything possibly wrong that he could. Which to a point he kind
am a dishwasher.
My hands are permanently puckered from washing dishes. And it's like he's very now. I'm like, all right, I got you, man.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
life just sucks, dude.
It's
and
very
you're
easy to
just
sympathize. Yeah.
you see the one decision that he should not have made to change his life down this path. If he stayed in Kansas, the rest of the movie would have been different. The rest of his life. would
Well,
have been
that's the thing
different.
too.
Yes.
If he did stay, well, it would have given him a better life. That dream would have never really
That dream would have
fulfilled.
ended.
It would have ended.
Yes.
It would have ended with that family. So it is this heartbreaking thing as well. Like to achieving a dream is not this easy thing.
No, you have to give everything.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
And even then, it sucks because you're probably not going to get it. But maybe your kid will.
And that's why I'm gonna read the tagline here because I think it's absolutely amazing. All those years, all those dreams, all those sons, one of them is going to be a star. Like that gave me like chills the first time I read it. I think that's amazing.
I think that's cool. Did you know Pokemon is now live on Twitch?
What?
Oh my gosh! I wonder what are they doing? I cleared the notification actually. Never
Maybe
mind.
we'll talk about the Entei movie someday.
Ooh, what was that?
Sins of the Father or
That's
some
not
shit.
what that one is.
He is like a dad for some reason in the movie.
It's like Pokemon 3000? 2000?
No, 2000's the
Celebi?
the Lugia movie. Entei is just like Pokemon the movie 3 or some shit like that.
Okay, I think so, yeah.
But let's actually talk about Mewtwo Strikes Back.
I don't want to talk about that one.
It's not a CG one. It's older.
The older one?
It's not the YouTube. It's not the Mewtwo movie. It is a old sequel to the Mewtwo movie.
Yeah, I am familiar with
You
it.
remember that one? Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, let's talk about Mewtwo Strikes Back.
Is this the one where, or was it the first Mewtwo movie where they could throw Pokeballs at Pokeballs and then capture the Pokemon in the Pokeballs? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
That could be in the second one. Because in the first one, it's more about just like copying the DNA to make like the bad Pokemon.
We're
or
gonna make
whatever.
the strongest Pokemon.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
So yeah, I think in the second one it is like Mewtwo is like, I'll take your Pokemon.
I think that's exactly what happens. Doesn't Ash turn into rock or like stone?
That's the first
That's
one.
the first one, yeah.
That's the saddest movie in
and
cinema
then
history.
he cries.
Saddest moment.
Pikachu cries, and
All of them cry.
he
The
melts.
tears of the Pokemon
Yes.
restore.
So were all these humans that were statues.
Not even all of it, just him.
Alright, all that human, all that single
Just
child.
one guy who got
One-
one
one
kid,
10-year-old.
yeah, one kid who's turned to stone. One kid, one stone, one Pokemon. He's got to be a master someday.
Do you like the Pokemon Gold Silver Pokerap?
Oh, dude, wait, Pokérap? Oh,
Are you familiar with this?
You've played it.
Yes.
It's definitely. I'm not as familiar, even though I like that gen more. I'm not as familiar with the rap because it just feels like, oh, we're doing the same thing again.
Pokemon.
You know, it's not. Yeah, I don't know. When it comes to Gen 2 music, the best fucking song is easily the fucking "Everybody Want to Be on That."
Yeah,
That's the best song in Gen 2. Hands down, bro.
You try, gonna get just a little bit.
The NT version has the it's the version the like duet version with the dude and the chick who I think are both using autotune.
It's a whole new way we live in, and then like breakbeat happens.
Yeah, gotta put in a breakbeat. Gotta make it epic.
I love breakbeats.
Yeah, man. Well, and now I guess we're gonna break beat out of here, and call it a day. You know, thanks for being here. Thanks for talking about American pop with me. I'm sure we'll
not a problem.
You know, hopefully do more of these. There's that other thing as well that I want to do. I haven't teased that really much.
I won't say anything about it. No, I'm excited. Hopefully, just let me know and we'll.
Oh, it's good. I want to start that soon. I wanted to do some of these first and then
get some of this out of the way.
I need a bit more of a crew for that other one. Mainly just Avery or someone extra to hold the camera.
I got you.
We do our thing, and then Anthony is going to be our stand-in drummer. If that gives anyone any hints.
Edit that out. Oh. Put a big old censor thing over your mouth.
Oh yeah.
Like one of those.
Because everyone is just dying to know.
This is prime content, man.
It
$1 billion
is.
worth of
$1 billion right into this.
Right in here.
You could tell.
Imagine.
Oh, dude.
A Game Boy?
You got me this pretzel box?
Yes, I did. I didn't buy you any. That's good.
It can just cut back to now too if you want to do a real ending.
Do we talk about like? I don't know, what the fuck do we talk
Do you have anything else you want to say?
Not really. I mean, sometimes I
sometimes I
really
feel alone at night.
Yeah, sometimes I hang out over here.
Stay awake at night.
Yeah, sometimes I free my mind at night.
Sometimes this lonely stoner frees his mind at night.
Bedtime.
Bedtime.
Sometimes I play video games. Sometimes I make music with you. I don't do much besides that.
Yeah, Trey and I forgot to plug anything like that, but yeah, we do make music. We do make music with Trey, actually.
I'll use make loosely because we jam a lot.
We jam a lot.
We've got
still make music.
We do make music. We have I guess kind of one album.
We have one album, but we have a lot of stuff in the backlog.
And the album was a very special case. It was a very fun thing.
Yes, fully improv album made for a fully improv movie.
Yes,
you know.
So
it's rough around the edges, but I like it. And that album actually is a lot more diverse than say what like the other music that we've had for like an EP.
Yes.
Yeah, I think because we did try to do things like we'll have a club song and we'll rap and this kind of shit.
We'll just do things that we've never
It's all over the
touched.
place.
We're just gonna have fun.
Exactly.
And that was great. No, I mean, yeah, I don't really do anything. You can follow my Instagram if you guys see this at JSprinkles Inc. I think currently my name is Ant-Man Lover for Life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll see you in the quantum realm.
See you in the quantum realm.
Anyway, and then I shrink down and
I wish I could do that. Oh, it's another pretzel box.
The sun looks beautiful. Suburban listening.
It's like this.
Just an 820, or no, it's an episode of Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Bro, I know you smoked that shit.
It's just very bright out here, man. I